welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a mid-month reading for the month of March for the sign of Virgo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. If you don't know what your Moon or Ascendant signs, have a look in the description box below. There's a link down there that will help you. And then come back and watch the videos for your Moon and Rising signs, because it'll give you a better idea of what's going on with you overall, rather than just what's going on with your Sun sign. Thank you so much. I woke up on Monday and not only had Mercury gone direct, which pleased me no end, but I discovered that I'd sailed over 10,000 subscribers and I was so happy. I did a little dance. It was a big milestone for me. So I want to thank you all so much. Thank you for those people who've subscribed, who've liked the videos, commented on the videos, shared the videos, sent me messages, reached out for personal readings, donated. Like, I appreciate every last one of you so much. You have no idea. Genuinely, it's a big deal for me, so thank you. What else to tell you? Pisces season. We've got another 10 days or so of it. So I don't know about you, but I found it kind of fucked me up quite a bit. It's been quite emotional for most of it. Well, I'm still in it, I guess. But that with the retrograde, Mercury retrograde was quite an uncomfortable energy for me. I hope it was a little better for you, because them feels, man, harsh. Right. So, because this is a mid-month reading, we're going to do it a little differently to the monthlies. Try and keep them a little bit shorter because it is covering a smaller time period. Do remember, of course, that time is fluid, so it can kind of leach out either side. And I pull 3 cards for where you are right now, 3 cards for what's coming towards you, and then 3 cards of advice, hopefully, is the plan. Try not to clarify, but if I think something needs clarifying, then I'm going to do it because basically I'm a big cat and I get nosy. So, and with all of that out of the way, I have 3 cards for Virgo. Where is Virgo right now? Holy shit. Okay, well, seems you want to talk about it, Virgo. That's a good thing. Right. So, your energy right now, where you are at. The 3 cards that we've got are the Hierophant, Temperance, and the Ace of Swords. At the bottom of the deck, that's interesting, we've got the King of Wands and the 9 of Swords, followed by the Wheel of Fortune, alright, and the 2 of Swords. Okay. The Hierophant is the card of Taurus. Temperance is the card of Sagittarius, and the Ace of Swords was air, obviously. But the reason why I'm kind of roaring around is because we've got then at the bottom the King of Wands, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarian energy. The 9 of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune, which is also Sagittarian energy. So if you're dealing with a Sagittarius, then this reading is probably for you. But if not, if they're energies, then that's a good thing because Sagittarius is very healing, but we'll get to that. So the first card that you've got is the Hierophant. And like I said, that's the card of Taurus. Now, this card can talk about lots of things. It can talk about business. It can talk about established kind of societal structures. So we're talking about religion. We're talking about churches. We're talking about schools, universities. You know, anything like where you've got one person at the top who is teaching or guiding, you know, other people, or just leading other people. It can be quite a spiritual card, but I also can find it a little bit rigid and a little bit inflexible, I think. But because it talks about established societal institutions, it can also talk about marriage. But it's earth energy, like you. And despite all of its rigidity, it's numbered 5, which is a number of instability and shift and change. So I know that the Virgo readings over the last few months have been talking a lot about things changing and things ending and stuff like that. So this is actually kind of quite a good card to start off with, because it feels to me like you're starting to stabilize. Right? You're starting to find a sense of structure that you can work within, I think. Like, this card's sometimes called the Pope card, but on this one he looks more like a, well, he's supposed to be a druid, but he looks like a shaman to me. You know? he's got his stick with the bird feathers on it and stuff like that. Like, it's very shamanic visual, I think. But as earth signs, this is quite a reassuring card to come out, because it does talk about you being able to find, you know, foundation and structure and all that sort of thing. So that's really positive. But it's followed by Temperance, which, as I said, is a card of Sagittarius. Right? I don't think I've done a single reading where Sagittarius hasn't been trampling all over it, actually. They're really tarting themselves about at the moment. But that's good, because, like I said, they have a very healing energy. And if it's not a Sagittarian you're dealing with, if it is just the energy of it, then what this is saying is that there is a great kind of collective healing going on, at least with all the signs that I've read for so far this month. That's like 5 or 6 now, I think. It's a fire card, but there's always water depicted on it, and there's a kind of alchemical kind of feel about it. It's 14, you know, you put that together, that makes a 5. And so for me, this always talks about healing that comes off the back of, you know, challenging situations, instability and shift and all that kind of thing. This is like finding the peace afterwards. And it's a very peaceful card, very peaceful, in fact. It's called the Keeper of the Well in this depiction, and she is sat next to a well, but she does appear to be under the water herself. And look how clear and calm that water is. It's a sense of finding an emotional peace about yourself. And I really like the combination of these two cards together, because it sort of suggests not only are you, you know, finding your earth stability in the 3D and whatever, but there's a great emotional peace that's coming with it. You know, maybe you're sorting things out, you're starting to see how you function now off the back of all the things that have changed and shifted and ended for you, because that's been a theme for Virgos in the last couple of months, probably slightly longer actually. This is really good. This is really peaceful energy. And then we've got the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords talks about truth. Right? It talks about integrity, it talks about honour, it talks about clarity of thought and clarity of expression, right? And I love to see it coming out after the Temperance card. There's so much peace in these two major arcana cards here, right? They're solitary figures, but they're sat very peacefully. We've got the harp over here that talks about peace, you know, and then we've got this Temperance Sagittarian energy, which is also peaceful, right? Balance as well, that's the other thing that the Temperance card talks about. Peace and balance, harmony, restored. Thank you, that's what I heard, harmony restored. And then this truth. Now, whether it's coming to the truth that's allowed this to happen, or whether it's just staying still enough and rebalancing yourself and allowing yourself to heal slightly, that is allowing a truth to come forwards, you'll have to fill in the blanks yourself with that one. But there is a sense of you being able to see the way forward in a way that perhaps you haven't been able to see up until now, right? Not only that, you're in a position to be able to express that, not just to other people, but also to yourself. You know, there's an intellectual understanding now that was perhaps absent previously. I really like that. Yeah. This Nine of Swords talks about, that's underneath the King of Wands here, it talks about grief, it talks about insomnia, it talks about overthinking, you know, which is, I'm sorry to say, a Virgoan trait. You are rather prone to it. You know, there's somebody in a lot of pain here, and it seems like you've shifted that, you know, you've sloughed it off. And then we've got the Wheel of Fortune underneath, and the Wheel of Fortune has been coming up for you quite a lot, right? The wheel is turning, and whether you have realised it or not in the preceding few months, like, this is all for your good, this is for your betterment. And I get the sense that you're starting to see that now, like, with the Hierophant, with Temperance, with the Ace of Swords, peace, balance, harmony, truth. You know, these things are all really important, and this is the energy that you're sitting in at the moment. I really like that. So, what is coming towards Virgo for the last 2 weeks of March, please? No, we're not having this. Come on, behave. Jesus fucking Christ. Right, I'll put them all back. I don't take them when they drop to the right, because that means I literally have just dropped them. And I also don't take them when I throw them across the room, because we don't do that. Right, let's try again. 3 cards for what's coming towards Virgo, please. King of Wands have just flipped there again. What have we got here? Ace of Wands. Nice. That's good energy. It's new starts with things. Queen of Wands. That's an excellent energy to utilise the Ace of Wands with. Let's see what these 2 cards are. Right. Oh, the 3 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, and the 9 of Pentacles. Now, don't be alarmed by this, because I actually really like this sitting as it is here. And particularly the cards as they run this way as well. So the first card that you've got is the 3 of Swords, right? And that talks about heartbreak. It talks about, you know, grief and loss and deep internal emotional wounds, right? But what I like about it in the Llewellyn Deck that is different to a standard depiction is that with the standard depiction, it's kind of visceral. You know, there are swords right through a fucking heart, and you know, there's all but blood dripping down off it. It's very fresh, it's very raw, and it stings and it's painful. We don't have this with the Llewellyn here. This has got a more aged quality to it, right? Now this person is still sat here, sat on this rock here, but these swords aren't buried in her heart, they're buried in the stone, like around her where she's sitting, right? They're not actually hurting her. She's sitting with them, but they're not hacking her up, you know? And she's actually sat on the bank of a stream. And as we know, in the tarot, water talks about emotions, yeah? There's a sense of you sitting with the things that have upset you, sitting with the things that have wounded you. But you have the capacity to get up and walk away from those, right? This isn't fresh. This is starting to, you know, age slightly. But I like that it comes up after the Ace of Swords, because it's more of a contemplative energy. Like there's clearly still sadness here, but it's not wounding you in the same way. When it's coming up with the Ace of Swords, it suggests that there's kind of a new way to look at this, or that you have discovered a new way to look at this. You know, the truthful way, really. And once you've finished dealing with the consequences of that, your emotional consequences, the water under here, then you can get up and step away from these things, right? You can utilize this new start. And the reason that I like it is because it's come up with this healing energy, right? You've healed to the point where you can see things slightly differently to how you saw them before. And it's allowing you to look at this situation here, see what it is, sit with the sadness of it, but process it. Right? The second card that you've got is the 10 of Swords. Now, like that's an uncomfortable card. I'm not going to lie. It is. But I actually like it, right? Because particularly like it together with this card. Because the 10 of Swords is an end, right? It is an end of a cycle. The cycle runs from the Ace to the 10 in the Pips cards. And once you've finished at the 10, then you go back to the Ace. Right. So for me, there is here implicit an acknowledgement that something has ended, something that wounded you, right, has come to an end, and you are both acknowledging that and embracing. It's probably the wrong word, but accepting it, right? Accepting the end of this, whatever it was that broke your heart, accepting that it's over, accepting that it's done. And you know, there's a kind of like rock bottom quality to this card, but when you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. You know, you can only improve from a point of absolute, you know, hitting bedrock. You just got to go up. And the final card that you've got for what's coming towards you is the 9 of Pentacles, and this is wonderful. Like I actually for all these are uncomfortable and painful cards, like I love the progression of this. This works beautifully. Because the Nine of Pentacles is about self-sufficiency. And it's not just having a decent job and being able to pay your bills, although that does come into it occasionally. The nines for me talk about the self. They talk about being able to master the element, such as it is, whatever it is, by yourself, right? Not needing someone else to come deal with it for you. And because it's resources, because it's pentacles rather, it talks of resources. So mental, physical, emotional, financial, anything, right? Stuff that means something to you in the 3D that you can perceive with all of your senses is the pentacle suit. It's the stuff that you need to survive, but it's the stuff that makes you, that kind of makes your life a nice place as well, the nice things that you have around you. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs would totally, be covered by the pentacle suit. And this woman in the middle of this card is standing tall, right? And she's looking out over a scene. She does not appear to be concerned by anything. Like, she's got her shit in order. And this is you. This is your energy. This is what's coming towards you, Virgo, towards the end of this month. And it's like, I think Virgo, I'm pretty sure this is a card of Virgo anyway. Like the pips are divided into cardinal, fixed and mutable signs, and Virgo is mutable earth. So this is your card, right? Which means that you are aligning with your energy, right? This is practical. This is stuff that you can actually get your teeth into. This is stuff that will make you stand up tall again, instead of being crouched down here with these, these swords and these things that have heartbroken you, or lying on the rock and just, feeling wounded and terrible. This is you getting your shit together and getting on top of it, aligning with your energy and putting yourself where you're supposed to be. I really like that. I really like that for you. Right? And these cards are painful, that's undeniable. But there's a process here, right? You're being asked to respect the process. Give it the time that it needs. Allow yourself to heal as you have been doing. And the Nine of Pentacles comes out under the Ace of Swords, right? This new way of thinking, these new ideas. It could just be new ideas about how you're going to make this happen, possibly. But it feels like it's getting to the heart of the matter. It's getting to the truth of the matter, accepting it, and then doing what you do best, which is being extremely practical and kind of fixing all the stuff around you with all of this stuff accepted. So let's get you some advice. See if we can't ease the way for you a little bit. 3 cards of advice for Virgo, please. That's the first one. Oh, I love it. 3 cards of advice for Virgo, please. Oh, there we go. Right, these are perfect. I absolutely adore this as well. The first card that you've got is the Queen of Pentacles. That is your queen, right? That is, in fact, you. Right? You've come out again. The Queen of Pentacles, as well as being the Earth Queen and the Virgo of the deck, she knows the value of things, right? She knows what she has. She appreciates what she has. She's a mother, maybe you're a mother, that's possible. But she's a very caring and nurturing energy, right? Like the Pentacles suit works in a very particular way, and like there are no shortcuts with the Pentacles suit, not like there is perhaps with the Fire, say, right? It's very sparky, it's off, and it's it's doing its thing. With the Earth suit, there is a prescribed route to success, right? And there are no shortcuts with it. You have to honor each step as you go, right? Like planting something, like planting a seed. You got to water it, you got to nurture it, you got to keep all the weeds away from it, and you got to help it build itself up strong. Like, that's what this is all about. And here's you sat at the pinnacle of your suit, with the feminine energies of this. But for me, she also talks about self-care, right? She talks about not selfishly putting yourself first, but understanding that you have needs and that you need to take care of them in order that you can provide for other people. And because she's often the mother, maybe you've got children, right? It's about looking after you first so that you can then care for and nurture all of the things that are around you that are important to you, right? But it's a really strong presentation of you. And I love the fact that it's come out after the Nine of Pentacles as well, right? Because these two go together beautifully, right? And I think there's an element of looking after your practical existence, because as an earth sign, like, that's quite important to you. Like, that makes you feel safe, that grounding, that stability, that foundation, right? Take care of it, because that will help you heal as well, right? And then we've got the Star. Now, that's the card of Aquarius. And if you're dealing with an Aquarius, right, that's a thing. But it talks about maintaining hope. It talks about trust, actually, because it's about following a guiding star, right? It's not necessarily intuition, because I would expect to see a different card here for that. But there is a really strong trust aspect to this. Like, trust that things will work out. Trust that things will be okay. Trust that, you'll get your stability back. Because you are. Whether you realise it or not, whether you're quite feeling it or not, you are getting there. And the final card that you've got is the Devil, or, the horned one, as it is in this deck, but it's come out in reverse, and that is wonderful. That is the way that we want to see this card. This is the card of Capricorn. Again, if you're dealing with a Capricorn, that's a thing. But it's advice, right? In reverse, it talks about coming out of fear, right? Because it is entirely a fear-based card. It talks about all of those things that are driven by fear. Addiction, abuse, toxicity, codependency, right? If you've been suffering from any of those things, you're being asked to look at the fact that you have and release it and let it go. But primarily, do not be driven by fear any longer, right? Because I did sense a lot of fear from the previous readings. There was... Although you're a mutable sign, so you're a little more flexible than the other two earth signs, you're still earth. You don't like change. You don't like things being disrupted. You don't like your little corner of the universe, to suffer any earthquakes. It doesn't suit you. And that's left you feeling very scared. There was quite a panicky feel of some of the readings that I did. Everything that's happened has been for your greater good, and at some point in the future you will see this as the turning point where things did get better in a way that you didn't anticipate. Let the fear go, because you really, truly, you have nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. You just have to trust that everything will be okay. Right, I'm going to leave it there, Virgo, because I've got a shit ton of personal readings to get through for the rest of today. But, as ever, if the video resonated, like it and shit. If you fancy commenting, that's cool also. But if not, I will see you in about 10 or 12 days, something like that, for the April monthly videos. But well done. I'm really proud of you. This is really good. It's all actually extremely positive. And you got this. So, take care. I'll see you soon.